I used to think walking was nice, but not powerful. Like, it's what you do when you can't get to the gym. Then I kept hearing guys say they felt better, more energy, better sleep, even a stronger sex drive, just from getting their steps up. So I decided to test it in the simplest way possible. For the next 14 days, I walked 8,000 steps every single day. No new supplements. No crazy diet overhaul. No extra cardio workouts. Just steps. And because this is the internet, where everyone claims everything works, I wanted to anchor this in real science as I went. Here's the reason this experiment is even worth doing. We already have research showing daily steps are associated with testosterone levels. A 2021 study looking at US men, using accelerometer step data from NANS, found that men with higher daily step counts had lower odds of having low total testosterone, and that even crossing a modest step threshold was associated with better odds compared to very low steps. The study wasn't proof that steps magically create testosterone, because it was observational, but it's a strong clue that moving more is linked to better hormone status in real life. So I made rules. Rule 1, 8,000 steps daily, no exceptions. Rule 2, keep my food basically the same. No sudden cutting, no bulking. Rule 3, keep my normal routine the same. If I trained like normal. Rule 4, track what matters, because testosterone is not just a number, it shows up in how you feel. So every day I tracked sleep quality, stress, energy, mood, afternoon crash, libido, morning readiness, and my resting heart rate. I also paid attention to cravings and whether my mind felt calmer or more chaotic. Day 1 through day 3 was the reality check phase. I didn't feel superhuman. What I felt was friction. Finding time for 8,000 steps when life is busy is the real workout. Some days I had to split it into 2 walks. Sometimes 3. But something interesting happened almost immediately. After a walk, my brain felt quieter. Less noise. Less edge. That actually matches what we know about stress biology. Testosterone and stress hormones have an antagonistic relationship in many contexts, especially when stress is chronic. There's classic physiology research showing that elevating cortisol can suppress testosterone, and researchers have discussed how higher cortisol states can be linked to lower circulating testosterone levels. The simple version is, the more your body is pushed into a constant fight-or-flight state, the more it can downshift hormones tied to recovery, reproduction, and long-term building. And walking, especially outdoors, can act like a nervous system reset button. Not because it's magic, but because it's rhythmic, low-intensity movement that signals safety to your body. It's also a clean way to burn off stress without beating yourself into the ground. By day 4 to day 7, the habit started to lock in. And this is when the testosterone-related benefits started to show up in a way I could actually feel. The biggest change? Sleep. I fell asleep faster. I stayed asleep longer. And I woke up feeling like my battery wasn't stuck at 15%. Now here's why I'm emphasizing sleep so much. Testosterone is strongly tied to sleep duration and quality. There's a well-known study published in JAMA where healthy young men were restricted to 5 hours of sleep per night for 1 week, and their daytime testosterone levels dropped by about 10 to 15%. 1 week. Not months. That's how fast sleep can impact hormones. So when people ask, can walking raise testosterone? The honest answer is, walking can improve the things that raise testosterone, especially sleep and stress, without the wear and tear that comes with grinding workouts every day. Around day 6, I noticed something else. I wasn't craving random junk as much. My appetite felt more stable. I didn't get that same aggressive late-night snack pull. And I wasn't getting the same heavy afternoon slump. That makes sense, because daily walking, especially after meals, can improve blood sugar handling, and stable blood sugar often means fewer energy crashes and fewer cravings. And when your energy and recovery improve, your training improves. When your training improves, your body composition can improve. And when body composition improves, especially less belly fat, testosterone often improves, because excess fat tissue can influence hormone balance. Now, day 8 through day 11 was the quiet wins phase. This is where the changes weren't dramatic in a single moment, but obvious when I compared how I felt to 2 weeks earlier. My baseline mood was better. Not euphoric, just more solid. My patience improved. My motivation felt cleaner. I was less likely to procrastinate. I didn't feel like I needed caffeine just to become a human. And if you've ever dealt with low energy, low drive, low confidence, you know that's the kind of change that makes people say, my testosterone feels higher, even without a lab test. But I want to be responsible here. Symptoms are not the same as a blood panel. Testosterone levels fluctuate by time of day, sleep, stress, and even calorie intake. So the goal of this challenge wasn't to claim walking is a medical treatment. The goal was to test whether a realistic movement target can shift the daily levers that matter. Now day 12 through day 14, this is when it all clicked. Because once the habit was automatic, I realized something: 8,000 steps didn't just add movement. It changed my day structure. Instead of sitting for hours and then trying to undo it with one intense workout, I was spreading movement across the day. That meant more circulation, less stiffness, better digestion, and less of that wired but tired feeling at night. So here's my honest result after 14 days. I felt more consistent energy, better sleep, lower stress, and better drive. My body felt looser. My head felt clearer. And my recovery felt smoother. Now let's connect this back to the research, because I want you to have confidence that this isn't just vibes. Remember that 2021 NANS accelerometer study I mentioned? The key takeaway was that men with higher step counts had lower odds of low testosterone compared to men with very low steps, and the relationship looked like a gradient: more steps, better odds. Again, it doesn't prove steps directly create testosterone, but it strongly supports this idea that a sedentary lifestyle is a hormone risk factor, and daily movement is protective. And the sleep study from JAMA gives you the mechanism. If poor sleep can drop testosterone by 10 to 15% in 1 week, then anything that reliably improves your sleep, like daily walking, can realistically help testosterone indirectly. And the cortisol-testosterone relationship gives you another mechanism. Lowering chronic stress signals can help your body stay in a state where testosterone can thrive rather than being suppressed. So if you're watching this thinking, okay, but why 8,000 steps? Because it's high enough to get you out of the sedentary danger zone, but not so high that you need to restructure your entire life. And it's scalable. If you're currently doing 2,000 steps a day, jumping to 8,000 is a huge shift. If you're already hitting 7,000, the change might be smaller, but it still can matter. Now here's who I think this works best for. If you sit a lot, if you work at a desk, if you're stressed, if your sleep is inconsistent, if you lift weights but barely move outside the gym, this is for you. Because walking is the missing piece for a lot of healthy people who are actually sedentary 90% of the day. And here's who needs to be realistic. If your sleep is 5 hours a night, your diet is chaos, alcohol is frequent, and stress is constant, 8,000 steps will help, but it won't fix everything. And if you suspect you have clinically low testosterone, the right move is a proper medical evaluation, not just steps. So what's the best way to do this if you want results? First, don't do all 8,000 steps at 11 p.m. as punishment. Spread it out. 2 walks of 15 to 25 minutes can do a lot. Second, if you can, walk after meals. Even 10 minutes after lunch or dinner. Third, keep it easy. This isn't a cardio competition. The goal is consistency, stress reduction, and recovery. Fourth, pair it with basics: hydration, sunlight in the morning, and a consistent bedtime. And don't make the classic mistake, adding steps while also adding intense workouts while also slashing calories. That's how you spike stress and wreck recovery. The whole point of walking is that it's high benefit with low cost. So here's my final verdict after 14 days. Walking 8,000 steps a day didn't feel flashy. It didn't feel like a biohack. But it was one of the highest return habits I've tested. Because it improved sleep and stress, and those are 2 of the biggest testosterone levers you can control. Now I want you to try it with me. Start tomorrow. Do 8,000 steps a day for 14 days. Track your sleep. Track your energy. Track your mood and drive. And if you want to make it even easier, split it into 2 walks, one earlier in the day, one after dinner. If you do this challenge, comment day 1 so I know you're in. And if you want the follow-up, I can do the next experiment. 8,000 steps versus 10,000 steps, and whether post-meal walks beat one long walk. If this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who's been feeling low energy and blaming everything except the basics. I'll see you in the next one.